Hello and welcome to Mark No Horsemanship. Here we are with Olaf, a 4-year-old or five. The owner's going to kill me. But anyway, I'm going to say 4.5. I said it on the last video and now I'm having, just look over at me, y'all. It's 4 or 5 years old. It ain't no big deal. What's a year, right? But anyway, Olaf is a registered Tennessee walking horse. And Olaf came to me with issues in the bridle. And I've discovered since Olaf's been with me, his issues are not just in the bridle as much as they are a lack of a foundation. He has no foundation. So what I've done is started him with some groundwork. He has, not to point out all the negatives about Olaf, I'll get to the positives in a minute, but Olaf has no patience, and that's not necessarily his fault. And when I say no patience, I mean he's having trouble being in the stall. A lot of people say that, well, that's cruel to make a horse do that. I disagree because they may have to be in a stall due to injuries or whatever the case may be, a storm or anything. So they need to learn how to stand and be a horse and wait. So being in the stall to me is not cruel as long as they get proper exercise. He's also impatient when it comes to being tied. He paws a lot, chews on the wood, chews on the rope, just anything. He's just unsettled. He's disconnected. And he's more disconnected with life in general than he is anything in particular. So what I've gotten Olaf doing, I've saddled him some. He's okay with the saddle, so I'm not necessarily worried about none of that. And I think by the sound of it, from what the customers tell me, he's never bucked or anything dangerous when you're on his back. So I'm not really concerned about none of that at this point. Yes, I'm going to ride him, and yes, I'm going to saddle him more. As you can see, he's not saddled today. And I sometimes say that regardless of what you're doing, it's better to go on and saddle your horse. Well, when you know that a horse is okay with being saddled and does not have a hump in his back or doesn't break into when you saddle him after he has been saddled in a few days, then you know that little thumb rule there may be a little bit you can be a little bit more lenient on it. It's the horses that want to jump around and crow hop quite a bit when you first saddle them that you want to keep saddled quite often. So in that case, I'll show you a little bit of the groundwork we've done. I've already done some groundwork with him just to kind of get the edge off of him, to get the stall edge, the energy off of him, because where he's been in the stall. And I don't think a horse is ready to learn anything until you do get that energy off of him. So what I'm going to do today is desensitize him a little bit. I don't think he's ever had any. The other day I spent just a few minutes tossing this rope across his back, and you would have thought that the end of the world was coming and that he was going to have his guts cut out of him. I mean, he was just scared to death. So we'll start with that, and then I got my flag here in the middle of the barn, and we'll desensitize him to that a little bit, and if time will allow, and he's not, if I haven't crowded his brain too bad by the time I get him better with the flag, then I'll do a little bit of tarp desensitization with him. Let me talk about it briefly for 30 seconds before I get started. Desensitization. It's a good thing, but if you don't know really why you're doing it or when to stop, then don't do it. Because I see horses being over desensitized, and it works in the opposite way of the way it's supposed to work. It exposes them, it overexposes them to it to the point to where they're scared of everything. And I think that more comes from of not knowing when to quit. I think a lot of people don't see the signs in the horse, and sometimes they don't lick. Sometimes they don't lower their head. Sometimes they don't what I call cock a foot, cock a leg. That's all them things I just mentioned are a sign of accepting relaxation to where they're not worried. But sometimes the horse don't give you them things, and you have to be experienced enough just to see the overall look of the horse to know that you can go ahead and quit even though they haven't gave you any of them signs. And I hope that makes a lot of sense. A lot of these things that I bring out, I can't explain as much as I know them, but it's just from being with hundreds of horses in a pen and working with them. It's a feeling that you get. Again, I'll repeat that briefly, quickly. If they don't give you none of those signs I just mentioned, Sometimes it's just a feel that you get that they're okay with whatever it is that you're using to desensitize them with, and you can quit then. But I think a lot of people are strictly looking for the licking and the chewing, the lowering of the head, or all them major signs, and they keep going and they keep going and they keep going. And there was a time in there, even though they didn't give you those signs, there was a time in there somewhere where you should have quit. And I think that's where we're getting in trouble. So I just wanted to mention that. So I'll just give you a rundown on where we're at so far. I've taught him how to direct and drive. You can see him; he's already being obedient and following my feel. He's knowing what I want. So don't really care if he runs around in here or not. I just basically wanted to show you what I've gotten accomplished with him so far. I will get him up in a little run walk here and just get him using himself just a little bit, and a little bit faster than a normal walk. And right here, just to show you what I've gotten done with him, and then we're going to get to desensitizing him. I'm going to roll that hip away from me, bring this front end over, and move him out. I can't stress groundwork enough with a horse, especially, I mean, in my personal opinion of over 28 years of doing this, I personally believe, let me put it that way, that you can, how can I say this? You can help a lot of things with groundwork that when you get on their back, it helps you out tremendously. But you can also hurt a lot of things. What I'm seeing is, and me and another older gentleman this morning was talking about it, I'm seeing a lot of people today that we live in a society, and then I'll get started here with desensitization little session here, but we're living in a society today where I don't want to say people are don't have backbones. That would be a little bit too cruel to say or too blunt. But when problems occur, people opt out. If a problem occurs in a vehicle when I was growing up, what would our dads do? We'd go out there and we'd crawl under the darn thing and we'd fix it. But now it's, well, we just get rid of it and get another one. If it's your kids and a problem occurs, you take them to counseling or to a nutty professor somewhere and get them to try to fix it. And we don't want to tackle the problem. So what I'm seeing is people people with horses, when a problem occurs, if they can't fix it in 2 days, or if I can't fix it for them in 2 days, they just quit. They sell it and they buy another one. And yes, there's enough horses in this world that we can do that, but that's not the point. Now I'm not expecting you to hang in there with something that's going to half kill you and everything and get hurt. But these smaller problems with bitting issues and things, seek help. Get help for your horse, and then your horse can help you. So I'll get off my soapbox here and get started. So he's never seen this flag as far as I know since he's been here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show it to him. Now you can watch Olaf. He's going to react to it, and I just want to touch him with it. If you can hurry up and touch him with it. Now you got to watch him. You got to watch him front feet, them front legs. Horses in their way of defending themselves as wild horses, even though Olaf's not a wild horse, but he still has the instincts, the natural instincts of a wild Mustang. That's one of their defense mechanisms is to paw and strike with them front feet. And sometimes we can get these things in a corner, and you got to remember one thing about a horse: if they can't fight, they'll flight. So in other words, they're either fighters or they're flighters. They'll either fight you back to defend themselves, or they'll just run away. And if they can't run away, then usually they'll fight. So, but we don't want to get them in that position. So by me just going on and touching him with this, saying, "Hey, Olaf, I know you don't know what this blue dangly thing is here, but if you'll see here that it's not going to hurt you, then everything's going to be all right." So see there, now that he knows it ain't going to hurt him, I rubbed him all over, under his belly. Now, some may say, so now you're going to scare him with it. No, I'm not going to scare him with it. I'm going to teach him how to handle a dramatic situation. I didn't say I was going to make him bomb-proof to where he never spooks again, but I'm going to teach him how to handle life. He don't know how to handle life right now. What's that got to do with why he came? Everything in the world. Because he don't know how to be if he was a human, he wouldn't know how to be a citizen in society yet. He just don't know how to be in our world. He knows how to be a horse by being defensive and getting away from what's trying to hurt him, that he thinks is trying to hurt him. But he don't know how to just take that and accept it and think in his mind, okay, I don't think anything's trying to kill me here, so I'm going to quit reacting to it. So right here, we're just going to rub him with it again, and he's going to react to this, but I'm not going to get too loud with him. I'm going to stand in a safe place. You want to be at a 45-degree angle of their shoulder. Try to be. And that way, if he strikes, maybe he'll strike beside you. I don't think Olaf's going to strike. I think he's just going to run around. So we're just going to get this flag going here. I'm going to take a wrap on my rope. And what I'm going to look for here is for him to what? To relax and stop moving his feet. Stop moving his feet and to relax and to get a better overall look in his face. Now, I'm trying to get in that position I told all y'all need to be in. And it's kind of hard to do. But if you'll just hang in here with him. Now, I'm not going to, you notice my demeanor. I've got my head down. I'm not staring at him. I'm relaxed. I'm saying, hey, dude, I've just got this twitch in my arm that won't quit. You know, in other words, I'm going at it in a nonchalant way. And hopefully by me doing that, he's going to pick up on my, personality here, my character, and see that I'm not in shambles, so why is he? So you can see that one leg behind him right there. I'm going to take that as a little bit of relaxation. I'm also going to wait on this poise. You notice this poise that he's got with his head. He's got his head up. He's like a statue. In other words, he's not moving. And sometimes I think that they're hiding. You know, deer do the same thing. They stand really still and quiet. And they're like almost thinking, if I stand here like this, I'm invisible. Nobody can see me. So I'm going to wait on this poise. I'm going to wait on him to relax a little bit more. He's got a relaxed leg. And hey, here in just another, a few seconds or a little bit here, I'll take that relaxed leg and I'll accept it. I'll take it as he's relaxed. Now, hopefully we'll get to the progressive desensitization today in this session. Right there. The way he wanted to move that leg forward and his overall look that he's got now, I'm going to take it and run with it. I'm going to say, good boy. See, now after I get done with this process, I didn't mean today, but after taking these horses through this type of training, and you never don't want to quit. You always want to go back. You don't have to do it every day. I mean, man, that's what's getting these things overexposed. Once you get this established with your horses, a little bit of desensitization, maybe hit on it once or twice a month. I mean, just to check them to see if they've gotten silly again, or let's put it this way, just to see if they went back to being a horse again. And if they haven't, then good. It may only be 2 minutes that you need to check him out. But by doing this, you see, I'm going to teach this horse again how to handle life. Right now, Olaf don't know how to handle life. So when he reacts to the bit, I'm trying to build a bridge between why he's here and what I'm doing. But for y'all to understand, but the way he is acting with the bit, he's overreacting to it. He don't understand it. And so therefore, he don't understand it. So he retaliates in ways that is bothering the people. He puts his head up and then he starts backing up. They said, and he just backs up, and they was afraid that one day he was just going to back over an embankment or back into something and injure himself or them. And so by saying all that, he just don't know how to act. I'm just going to put it that way. He doesn't know how to act, and you can see all this. He's just a little bit, jumpy. All that'll leave. I don't worry about it. This right here, that's why we're doing this right here. So what you do to one side, you should always do to the other. So I'm just going to start off with the same thing. Just teaching this horse how to act, how to be a citizen in a human world. I didn't say to be a horse in a human world. I said to be just like us. We got to learn how to act. Our parents hopefully raise us to know how to act. I see a lot today that I don't think got that kind of raising, but I won't get into that at the moment. But, you know, a good parent will teach their kids just how to act in society. You know, you can't do certain things is what I'm saying. You got to learn how to be polite. You got to learn how to be, understanding sometimes. You got to learn how to give and take in life on what you do. You got to learn how to be mannerly. You know, you can't be disrespectful. Hold doors open for elderly people. All the simple, basic, discipline type mannerly things that we were taught growing up. If you're my age or older, they're not even around anymore. Kids don't hardly know how to do it, so they don't know how to act in society. So I'm just trying to give this horse something that he can build his inner interacting with humans. Trying to give him something to go with. So right there, he lowered his head a little bit. He's got that back leg cocked. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but he's got this leg right here cocked. And so with that being said, we did both sides. You might say, so are you thinking it's a done deal now? No, I didn't say it was a done deal, but I think it's a good place to change up and do something different. And then we'll come back to that in a minute. So now, since we've desensitized that area, which was on his right and is on his left side, and it was over his top line, behind his eye. Now let's go in front of his eye right here. And let's desensitize this area in front of him. So I'm just going to do what I call a frowny face right here. There's a frowny face. Then we'll change it up and we'll do a smiley face right here. Will he ever drop his head? Well, ideally, I'd like to get them to drop their head. But I'll be honest with you, some of them don't because it's just annoying. You got to learn how it's annoying for them. You got to understand. You got to learn how to understand what they're doing. If they're being, if they're being reactive to it because they're scared of it, that's one thing. But if they're not lowering their head just because it's annoying to them, you got this rattling thing. Y'all probably can't hear it because I got this microphone on, but you got this rattling object that's coming up by your ear, and plus they can hear like nobody's business. So of course it's going to be a little bit annoying. So you got to learn how to depict on whether they're still holding their head like it just because it's annoying, or if they're scared of it. I think right now he's not as much scared of it as he is annoyed by it. Making sure I still had a green light. We good over there? Bride to be? She's not my bride to be. She is my bride. My bride. I got a funny look on that one, y'all. I love you. But anyway, so, just teaching this horse to be patient, stand here. Usually he's okay with people as far as standing. It's when you tie him up, and I think he's been given too much attention. I hear so many people when a horse starts pawing or getting impatient being tied, they quit, stop, don't do that. And they go over and they smack them or something. And, that's giving them attention. This ground in here is pretty solid shell rock underneath it. And they'll get down past this dirt right here, and that's about as far as they can get. And if they want to paw, I let them paw. There's scars all over that wall right there where I've had them in here pawing, and that's why I got them boards the way they are, so they can't get their hoofs in between them. I need to add some boards on this side because these pawers I can't put over here because they get their leg through them boards. So I need to kind of work on that. One of them winter projects that we'll get to, maybe. But anyway, so I just tie them up and let them paw. And these really impatient ones, it's probably a good idea if you did them last, because I need my pen, so do them last, and while you're feeding or watering the horses for the evening, getting ready to quit, just leave these inpatients untied for about 2 hours. It don't hurt them. I promise you that. So got a little bit done with the flag right there. Just gonna bring it back up and rub him with it. You ain't gotta sit in here and wear your arm out on them. So now I think I'll go over here. I won't start the progressive desensitization today. I think I'll save that for another video. And just so I can tell if you guys are paying attention out there or not, y'all comment me send me a message here in a day or two and ask me if I've done the progressive desensitization session with OLAF yet, because I'd like to take you through it and explain it to you. It would really help your understanding of it just ups the ante on desensitization. So I'm going to go over here and get the tarp, the old trusty tarp I've had for I don't know how long. Somebody said, why don't I get a new one? Well, I'm like old Gus on Lonesome Dove. I don't give up on a garment just because it's got a hole or two in it. And I'm like that with my tarps too, just because they. Now I want y'all to look here. Do y'all have this same problem? I want you to look at all them stink bugs on there. You see them? So if they spook at this tarp, it'll be because it stinks. I tell you what, I'll save that for the desensitizing. They'll come off here in a minute. I think I got them all anyway. Lord, look at all them stink bugs. But anyway, so we're going to show this to OLAF. Let him see it and smell it and investigate it. He might think it smells like stink bugs. But just going to rub him with it. It's going to be a big brush. He don't know. Who knows? It may just be a towel. I mean, he don't know the difference. So let's let him enjoy it first before we, I ain't going to say scare him with it, but before we see if he's got any problems with it. How about that? So just going to rub him with it here. And then I don't make no bones about it. I just kind of go at work here. We're going to grab it on one end, and we're going to start desensitizing. Now, usually, after I get the flag done, and I've took that rope right here that I got in my left hand, and I have tossed it across his back like this. So the other day, and I don't think I got that on video. I was down here by myself, but so by doing that, he's pretty good with this tarp. Now this coming Monday, today is I don't know when you'll see this video, but today is Friday. This coming Monday, the veterinarian's coming to float Olaf's teeth, because I reached in there and he's got some major points on his sharp points on his top and bottom molars, and I'm not going to start working him in the bit and riding him in the bridle until I get them points off. So after Monday, we'll be able to start really, what I guess you could say, really getting busy with Olaf as far as the reason why he's here. But let me stop right there and say, I would have been doing all this regardless of whether his teeth was good or not. So I'm not just killing time until his teeth are worked on. I would have been doing this anyway, but I was just kind of giving you a future, and the customers, they're going to be watching too, and giving them a future preview of what's going on. And I'll be getting started with the bridling issue and things of that nature. And while I'm talking about it, before I go to the other side, I'm not going to promise you that this horse has as much as a bridling issue as he does a confident issue. I think sometimes, I don't know yet, I haven't ridden him, I may eat these words, but I believe the trouble that the customers are having is confidence, and when he don't want to go forward, he's kind of retaliating by throwing his head up and backing up. So hopefully with teaching him to go forward and getting him more confidence in going forward, we may not even see the bridling issue. It may not be a bridling issue at all. But I'm sure he's going to need some bridle work, because he's a walking horse, and typically speaking, not to step on anybody's toes out there that rides or trains walking horses, but generally speaking, they're not brought up in the same teaching as more of the, I don't want to say Western horse people, but the horsemanship way of teaching a horse to come into to get up to the point of riding them in a shank bit. I know for sure that a lot of walking horses are just put in a shank bit and held on to. So I'm pretty sure he's going to need some bridle work, whether he's got confidence or not. But I think it's a combo of both. But I'll shut up on that before I create some enemies. So right here, we'll go in here and we'll do the same thing on this side. You know, I don't see any issue with this. So there's no use in me. My elbows are already arthritic enough without making them worse. So, hey, let's quit the wear and tear on my body and let that be good. So that's a desensitizing session with OLAF. I think you can fit it into your program however you want to. If you're just bored and you're tired of riding the same old trail with your horse, or you don't know, you may have bought him and recently got him and you don't know if he's ever went through this process of being desensitized, and or he may be spooky and you're wondering what to do. But I do put emphasis on the fact of, like when I started this video, of telling you that if you're not of the understanding of really what you're doing and why, you know, those are two big things right there. Don't just do it. Don't just be a clone to someone that you've seen do it and use all their mannerisms and use the same kind of tools and all that and just say, well, that's the way I saw him doing it or her doing it. No, you really need to know why you're doing it and how to do it and why to do it, or why you're doing it and how and when to quit. Those are three major things right there. And if you don't know either three of them, then don't even attempt it. You might say, well, how do I learn? You go to someone that knows how. Seek professional help from a good horseman or horsewoman. And search them out. It's well worth the money that they charge. And I'm not just saying that because this is what I do for a living, but it's well worth the money. If I'm too far away, find someone close to you and drive a comfortable driving distance that you can learn from. And I don't mean just someone that I mean, you really need to go screen that person. You really need to go check out their history, check out their clientele if you can find some. Is this person what they say they are? It's very crucial that you do that. So just to end on a good note right here, what I'd like to do is come in here and teach and keep reminding OLAF to be light. Because you see, if we can get this done with the halter, when we start bridling, it should all make sense to him. So right there, you got soft, and this is how I'm going to end this session. Just give me another couple minutes here if you can spare the time. Maybe get you another half a cup of coffee here. Right there. Now I'm going to ask him to step over. I got him soft. Now I'm just going to ask him to step over and stay what? Respect my space and yield them hindquarters. So right here, we'll go to this side. I always like to rub them first. I don't overdo the rubbing, but I do let them know that I do like them and that I'm not just a drill sergeant, that I can be a kind human being as well. He's a little tighter on this side. Right there, he gave you that, so I dropped that rope. And when I say I drop it, I drop it. If you'll watch that rope, it falls. Now right here, he just lost his balance. Right here, we're waiting on him to give. Right there, he gave. I dropped that rope. I'm going to rub him. Now this time, once he gives, I'm going to wait. Now, see, I didn't want him to move right there, so I'm going to wait on that balance first. Now I'm going to ask him to move. Ask him to move right here. And just yield them hindquarters. Right there. So I just want to keep that working for me so that when I do go to start bridling him, at least he understands. There may be a little bit of a fight with the bridle and with the bit in his mouth, but he'll still understand it in here. And then if he understands it here, then this fight with the bridle bit will go away. So I hope you enjoyed that. Had a good session with OLAF. I don't think OLAF's got a mean bone in his body. He's just very impatient and don't like to wait. And he's just not been taught how to be a citizen in society. So anyway, we'll get back to OLAF here with another video in a day or two. And I hope you enjoyed that. God bless you and have a good day.